Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me at the Lonely Vine. So it's been like a month since I made my last video, so way overdue. Just kind of took some time off, kind of was looking at what I was doing with the site, what I was doing with the videos, seeing if I wanted to change anything around, maybe focus a little bit more on certain areas or keep it kind of all over the place. So we'll see where it goes. I think I'm going to keep it pretty similar to what it was before, but open for modifications at any time. So for the next probably at least 3 episodes, though, I'm going to concentrate on specific area, namely Burgundy of France. So I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here today. So now with the Burgundy wines, I'll talk a little bit about it first. They can be a little confusing when you're trying to read the labels. A lot of times it doesn't say what grape it is. When you see New World wines, it'll say that it's right on the label, Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay or whatever. But with a lot of the French wines, it doesn't do that. So that can be confusing to people, and so I'll explain a little bit here. For the most part, if you're buying a Burgundian wine and it's red, it's going to be Pinot Noir, and if you're buying a white wine, it's going to be Chardonnay. There are a couple exceptions, as always. If you're looking at the Beaujolais region of Burgundy, that's going to be the Gamay grape, and there can be other little ones throughout, but 99.9% of the time you're going to be looking at Pinot Noir or Chardonnay. The other thing you'll see a lot is, instead of the name, you'll see the region or the area from where the grape is from. And you'll see if it's a Premier Cru or a Grand Cru, which is all kind of a leveling system based on history of how the wines are. So for this one here, you can see right here that it's a Bourgogne, which is what you'll see for French Burgundy. You can also see that it says it's the appellation Bourgogne Contrôlée. That means that it's when you see that, it's basically telling you that the grapes come from anywhere within the Burgundy region. It can come from Côte de Nuit, Côte de Beaune, Marcanais, anywhere along Burgundy the grapes come from. This one does tell you that it is Pinot Noir. This Ville Vignes, that's just means that it's old vines. There's no law or stipulation saying what that means. I think probably 40 years old at least. You can see it's 2009, which in the Burgundy region was an excellent vintage. So this is essentially, it's a table wine. That's over 50% of the wines that come out of Burgundy are going to be the table wines. That's what you're going to find most of the time when you're in the wine shops that you're looking at, and because unless you're ready to go high price tag, you're not going to get into the Premier Crus, the Grand Crus. You may see villages, which would have generally the village name and the vineyard on the label. I just wanted to show one other thing. Down here on the bottom, it does have a location, this Santenay, but that's just telling you. You can see that it's bottled at the property of Jacques Girardin, and that is in Santenay, and it's Côte d'Or, France. That doesn't mean anything about the grapes. That's just where it was bottled. The source grapes can come anywhere in Burgundy. So just a little bit of a overview of what you'd be looking at. I'm looking at a couple more Burgundies this week, but I don't want to open all 3 today. One gets a little bit more down into a region, but actually they both do, and one's kind of a surprise. So check back to see what we're doing. So now that's 5 minutes. Now it's time to drink. So right away, I don't know if you can see it already, but this has got a lot of, it's a very light color, which, you would expect from Pinot Noir. Any of the Pinot Noirs that we generally look at, they're going to be lighter in color. Thin-skinned grape. A lot of aromas already coming off of this before I'm even getting my nose down into it. But yeah, very thin in color, or light in color. It's that ruby color. Getting towards a little bit of pink on the edge. Can read through it. Beautiful. Now let's get the nose into it. I'm interested to get into this one. Really nice nose. There's the fruit's coming through for sure. There's some leather notes to it that are really interesting. Getting a lot of cherry component, little cranberry. Trying to see, 12.5% alcohol on this. God, you probably can't get a lot of the color, but it's very beautiful looking wine. So yeah, we got the cherry, we got a little bit of cranberry, there's leather notes coming through it. There's a bit of an earthiness to it. It's not a lot, but it definitely is there. Yeah, okay. Good nose. I'm getting a sense of the alcohol as well. I would expect that to burn off. I did just open this within the last 10 minutes and just went from straight bottle to glass. So if I was to give this, 5 or 10 minutes, I imagine that alcohol note that I'm getting will burn right off. All right, so cheers. It's got a really long finish to it that I'm really enjoying. So the fruits that are coming through are that cherry, and that cranberry is really coming through. There's a tartness to this wine. I was expecting with as much alcohol that I was smelling on that I might taste a little bit of it, but I don't taste any of the alcohol at all. It's got a really long finish to it, longer than what I expected. And there I sense a little bit of the heat on the finish, but not anything that makes it, that detracts from it really. It is pretty light in body too. I was expecting it to have a little bit more body to it, but this really doesn't. It's pretty thin, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not what I was expecting. The flavors are good. I would pork just it comes into my head for some reason. Having this with a pork loin or pork chop or something like that, I think would be pretty tasty. And yeah, I think that about covers it. Pretty good bottle of wine. I wouldn't let this one age a whole lot more. I think it would probably have 5 years in it, but for the most part, if you're buying the table wine level Burgundy, drink it when you get it. Not a whole lot of point to keeping it around for a whole lot of time. Like I said, good vintage, and this is showing pretty well. The good thing about the table wines too is that generally when you look at the producers, they produce a lot of other wines working their way up the chart. So it's a good way to see what the producer does with the lowest level grapes. You know, I hate to say lowest quality, but you know, their higher quality grapes are used for their higher quality wines. But good stuff. You know, I'm interested to take a look at the other two Burgundies that I was looking at later this week. Hope you'll come back and join me for those. You know, we get one that's into more of the classic region and one that's from a region that I really was surprised to find a Pinot Noir from. So let's see, it's been a while, but question of the day. You know, Burgundy is one of those wine regions that really people think about, have really high expectations. Some of their favorite wines are always from those regions. So what is one of your most memorable wine experiences, and what wine were you having at it? Interesting to see if it's the wine or the situation or environment that you were in that is more memorable. So I'd love to see a comment from you. Glad to be back. You know, I just want to say thank you to the people that were asking where I was at and where the videos were at. It meant a lot to me to know that people were curious and were wanting to see more videos from me. So that helped me a lot getting back to doing them. And look forward to seeing you again. And leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, cheers.